Have you ever wondered, what is the cost of your value? What does your value truly cost? The value is the usefulness or the worth of a thing. When you talk about the value, you can see value from 2 points of view. As an individual, the perception. Because when you talk about value, the usefulness, so it's about perception. What do people think you want? It's about the usefulness, your usefulness to them, to the organization. What do you do? That's what determines the value they place on you. You can have all the qualifications in the world, but you're in the wrong organization. The value on you will be dropped. What do they perceive? What they think about you? It's often said that people treat you the way they value you. They think this is how much you're valued. This is how much you're worth. And so they're going to treat you based on what they think your value is. It's not their fault. It's the perception. And perception is driven by what? Usefulness. How useful are you? In any organization that you're not useful, what's going to happen? Your value is going to drop. Before you know, they're going to ease you out. What do you bring to the table? What value you bring to the table? You often hear people say, oh, what is it bringing to the table? When a club signs a footballer, what happens? They expect that footballer to be what? To perform at peak. When the footballer begins to dwindle, what happens? They bench him or her. When they bench him or her, what happens? The value begins to drop. What happens? They ship out the footballer. And that's the basic things about life. The friends you associate with, when they think you're not useful to them, what happens? They begin to avoid you. Don't get angry. Just look at your life. What am I really worth? Am I useful? Anything that is not useful is what is useless. When somebody says you're useless, don't be offended. It's not an abuse. It's not an insult. They use you less. And so when they use you less, what happens? Your value is low. The more they use you, the more you're useful. It shows you're useful. When you're being used, it shows you're useful. Do you make others better? When people come around you, when they leave, there's a perception that they have about you. Like, oh, when I went to her, my spirit was lifted. I had a better perception of who I am. But coming around her, do people leave you better or they leave you worse? It's all part of the perception. And so you must begin to think, what is your value? What value do people place on you? It should call for introspection. Don't get angry. Look inside. That takes me to the next thing. Your intrinsic value. But there's an intrinsic value, that innate value, that natural things, the things that are inside of you. That's what you're truly worth. They come in the latent form. Some need you to develop. Some need you to work on them. Where do you get gold? From dust. You get process. Your intrinsic value will determine the places you go, how you feel about yourself, your self-worth, intrinsic value. Thank you. Have a great day.